Life is suffering. At first glance, those words might sound heavy, even a little bleak. They echo like distant thunder on a cloudy day, stirring something deep within us. But what if this truth was never meant to make you sad? What if instead it was meant to wake you up, gently nudging you to see the world as it really is, and in doing so, opening the door to a profound kind of peace? Today, we journey into the heart of the first noble truth in Buddhism, Dukkha, and explore why understanding this truth is not the end of happiness, but the very beginning of it. Dukkha. The word itself is ancient, echoing through centuries of Buddhist teaching. In English, it's often translated as suffering, but that doesn't quite capture its full meaning. Dukkha is deeper, more subtle. It's the dissatisfaction that creeps in even when things are going well. It's the sense of unease, the restlessness that keeps us chasing after something just out of reach. It's the stress that underlies our daily lives, the feeling that something is always just a little off, never quite perfect. Think about the last time you had a perfect moment. A holiday, a triumph, a day when everything seemed to go your way. Even in the midst of happiness, there's often a shadow, the fear that it won't last, the anxiety that something might go wrong, or the bittersweet awareness that this moment, like all moments, will eventually pass. This is dukkha, the subtle, persistent sense that life doesn't quite deliver on its promises. The Buddha saw this clearly. He looked at the human condition without flinching, and he saw that suffering, dissatisfaction, and unease are woven into the fabric of existence. Not because life is a punishment or a mistake, but because everything in life is impermanent, always changing, always slipping through our fingers. But what exactly is dukkha? To understand it fully, we need to look at the three forms it takes in our lives. The first is the most obvious, the suffering of pain, illness, aging, and death. These are the unavoidable facts of being human. No one escapes them. We all know what it's like to stub a toe, lose a loved one, fall ill, or watch ourselves and those we care about grow older. This kind of suffering is direct and undeniable. It's the ache in your heart after a loss, the physical pain that makes you wince, the knowledge that life is fragile and unpredictable. The second form is subtler, the suffering of change. Even when life is good, it doesn't stay that way forever. Relationships shift, jobs end, seasons turn, and the things we love eventually slip away. The joy of a new romance, the pride of a new achievement, the comfort of a familiar home. All of these are subject to change, and because we cling to them, hoping they'll last, we suffer when they inevitably don't. This is the bittersweet nature of happiness itself. It's fleeting, and its impermanence makes us anxious, always reaching for more, always afraid of loss. The third form is the most subtle of all, the suffering of conditioned existence. This is the background hum of dissatisfaction that persists even when nothing seems wrong. It's the sense that something is missing, that life is never quite enough. You might have everything you ever wanted, and yet still feel a vague sense of emptiness or longing. This is dukkha at its most pervasive, a subtle itch that can't be scratched, a thirst that can't be quenched. It's important to understand that this isn't a pessimistic view of life. The Buddha wasn't telling us to give up hope or wallow in misery. He was offering a clear-eyed look at reality, inviting us to see things as they truly are. By acknowledging dukkha, we don't become hopeless, we become wise. Why is this acknowledgement so powerful? Because it's the first step toward freedom. When we see suffering clearly, we begin to understand its causes. We start to notice the patterns that keep us trapped, our clinging, our aversion, our endless searching for satisfaction in thing that can't provide it. We realize that suffering isn't just something that happens to us, it's something we participate in, often without realizing it. The first noble truth doesn't say that life is only suffering. It says, pay attention, because suffering is part of life. It's an invitation to look deeply, to become curious about our own experience. Where does suffering arise in our lives? How do we react to it? What do we do to avoid it, numb it, or distract ourselves from it? And most importantly, is there another way? Once we understand dukkha, we can begin to transform it. We stop running from discomfort and start meeting it with compassion and mindfulness. We learn to sit with our pain, to hold it gently, and to see what it has to teach us. We discover that suffering, far from being an enemy, can be a wise teacher, showing us where we're stuck, where we're holding on too tightly, where we're resisting the flow of life. This is the start of awakening. The Buddha didn't stop at suffering. He offered a path beyond it. That journey begins with honesty, with facing what hurts. It's not about denying pain or pretending everything is fine. It's about being courageous enough to face reality as it is, and gentle enough to hold ourselves with kindness as we do. From this place of honesty, compassion arises. We see that everyone suffers just as we do. We become less judgmental, more patient, more willing to help others. Mindfulness grows, allowing us to notice our thoughts and feelings without getting swept away by them. And gradually, a deep peace emerges, not because life is perfect, but because we've learned to make peace with imperfection. Suffering exists, but so does liberation. The Buddha's teachings aren't about escaping life or running away from pain. They're about awakening within life, right in the midst of its joys and sorrows. They're about discovering a freedom that isn't dependent on circumstances, a happiness that endures even in the face of difficulty. Imagine sitting quietly as the rain falls outside, feeling the gentle rhythm of your breath, the rise and fall of your chest. You notice a sadness in your heart or a tension in your body. Instead of pushing it away, you allow it to be there, just as it is. You breathe with it, hold it gently, and notice how it changes, softens, maybe even dissolves. In that moment, you realize that you don't have to be afraid of suffering. You can meet it with kindness, and in doing so, you find a new kind of strength, a quiet resilience that carries you through life's storms. This is the heart of the first noble truth. It's not a message of despair, but a call to wake up, to see things as they are, to stop pretending, to stop running, and to start living with open eyes and an open heart. It's the beginning of wisdom and the first step on the path to true peace. As you go about your day, notice the moments of dukkha that arise, the frustration in traffic, the impatience in a long line, the sadness of saying goodbye, the longing for something more. These are all invitations to wake up, to become curious, to practice compassion. Each moment of suffering is a doorway, a chance to turn toward life rather than away from it. You don't need to escape life. You don't need to wait for everything to be perfect. You can awaken right where you are, in the midst of your joys and sorrows, your hopes and fears. This is the promise of the Buddha's teaching. Throughout, liberation is possible, not by running from suffering, but by understanding it, embracing it, and transforming it from the inside out. So the next time you hear the rain or feel a pang of sadness, remember, suffering exists, but so does liberation. The path to peace begins with a single step, the willingness to see things as they are, and to meet them with an open heart. Let the gentle sound of a singing bowl remind you, every moment is an opportunity to awaken. Every breath is a chance to begin again. And in the midst of life's suffering, there is a peace that passes all understanding, waiting for you to discover it.